Fair and balanced, unbiased and clear, concise and accurate. This is the DBS Evening News. Here now is your presenter with the headlines.
In the headlines, the government of Dominica reaffirms its support for Venezuela following regional and parliamentary elections on Sunday. In news from the region, the Caribbean region urged to be fully prepared for the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season. And internationally, Canada's Prime Minister says he wants Canada to join major European defense plan. Good evening, I am Leila Langford. Details of the news when we return.
Too often, customers are counted but not valued, like mere numbers, statistics, transactions. But at Flow, we're prioritizing you, our valued customers who have been with us through every milestone, every moment. That's why we're putting our money where your loyalty is. Flow customers claim up to $400 in rewards for smartphones, groceries, and more when you add mobile to your current internet plan. Because loyalty isn't a one-way street. At Flow, loyalty flows both ways.
DBS News.
Welcome back. In our lead story this evening, the government of Dominica has reaffirmed its support for Venezuela following regional and parliamentary elections on Sunday. In a statement, the government of Dominica said, "We congratulate President Nicolas Maduro and the government of Venezuela on victory in regional and parliamentary elections." The statement said, "Dominica reaffirms its steadfast friend and partner of Venezuela, and we stand in solidarity and reaffirm our support for initiatives such as ALBA and Petrocaribe, examples of regional cooperation that have brought tangible benefits to the people of our region." The statement added that we are committed to working with the government and people of Venezuela to advance social justice and sustainable development. The government of Dominica offered its best wishes and look forward to deepening the historic bonds of friendship and cooperation between the two countries. The Maduro-led government took close to 83% of the votes. The opposition had called for a boycott of the elections. In other news this evening, Discover Dominica Authority is preparing to launch the 25th edition of the World Creole Music Festival over the next few weeks. Chief Executive Officer of Discover Dominica Authority and Tourism Director Marva Williams says they are upbeat ahead of the festival in October.
We are just about getting set to launch the World Creole Music Festival. Right now we're dotting I's and crossing T's. We love the fact that the public is anticipating. I can tell you for sure that persons are going to be pleasantly pleased. So we'll look forward to a major launch in the next few weeks. It's going to be a big year. I mean, it's 25 years. I've said that Dominica should be proud to be able to sustain a festival for 25 years. What we're going to do, we're going to make people journey down back to memory lane. It's going to be a lot of reminiscing, a lot of nostalgia. Even the marketing is taking a different route. We're going to be engaging in new markets like Jamaica, like St. Vincent, like Grenada. We've really engaged the stakeholders in the public, so we have a team of festival enthusiasts who are part of making recommendations when it comes to the lineup, when it comes to our marketing initiatives. We just look forward to journeying and presenting a massive, and permit me to say so, it's going to be a massive lineup, and of course our bouillon is going to flourish on that lineup.
Chief Executive Officer of Discover Dominica Authority, Marva Williams. Clare Harbour is in discussion with two potential clients in an effort to resume services in Dominica. This comes following massive job loss at Clare Harbour, Dominica, due to the withdrawal of some customer service companies. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit addressed the matter during a press conference this week.
Clare Harbour has been a major employer in Dominica since 2004, and they have been really true partners in our quest towards the creation of sustainable jobs and opportunities for young people. Every so often, such entities go through a process. So they have clients, sometimes the clients is for a 3-year period, or a 5-year period. And at the end of those periods, then there's some consideration. Sometimes they roll it over, as they have done many times. But you have a challenge now in the era of AI. There are companies now who are moving now to an AI solution, which is a cheaper solution to them. And so that's one of the reasons why we have lost many clients. And the challenge we had in Dominica, why it is so impactful on us at the Clare Harbour, is that we sort of had gotten over the years preferential treatment by Clare Harbour by giving us the bigger clients. So if you have a client that's employing 200 people for you and they pull out, then you can understand the dramatic impact on this. So what is happening now with Clare Harbour is that they are in discussion with 2 potential clients. And we believe that if they're able to conclude, because so far they're saying to me it looks promising, but we have to wait for the conclusion. But if they're able to successfully conclude negotiations with these 2 clients, then the majority of people who were sent home would be re-engaged. And so we look forward to that, and we're providing Clare Harbour with all necessary support. I'm in direct contact with the president of Clare Harbour on these matters, and we're on standby to provide whatever support. If it means I have to travel to the United States to meet with potential clients, I've offered that to them. And so we're hoping that we can make some movements in this.
Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit. Minister for Tourism Denise Charles Pemberton says Dominica's achievement of Green Destination certification will enable the country to access larger markets and to create opportunities for investment. Her remarks came at the Ministry of Tourism and Discover Dominica Authority inaugural Nature Talks panel on sustainability, which opened at Jungle Bay this morning.
As Minister for Tourism, I stand before you to do more than celebrate our identity as a nature island. I am here to issue a call for action, for commitment, and for shared purpose. Dominica shines its beauty, but beauty requires protection. Our waterfalls, forests, rivers, and reefs flourish when we commit to stewardship. Green Destination certification reflects that commitment. It shows we are prepared to back our values with evidence, intention, and long-term thinking. We invest in sustainable agriculture, protect our marine areas, and soon will expand access to clean geothermal energy. We shall establish the first sperm whale reserve in the world. And recently, we committed to CORSIA, the carbon offsetting and reduction scheme for international aviation. These efforts are forming a solid foundation. Green certification brings even greater possibilities. It opens new tourism markets led by travelers who prioritize sustainability. It creates channels for international funding, green investment, and strategic partnerships. It positions Dominica as a leader in responsible tourism and resilience, not only in the Caribbean, but globally.
Minister for Tourism Denise Charles Pemberton. Director of Operations at Green Case Sustainable Tourism Kennedy Pemberton says Dominica is well positioned to become a market leader in the blue economy.
Sustainable tourism is limitless and boundless. There are many major, massive undertakings that can be done using sustainability as the catalyst. So water is one of those in terms of the catchments, the reverse osmosis filtration, and using water to produce energy. We're a coastal destination, Dominica. So tidal energy, we have lots of opportunities, and just to show that using sustainability and sustainable tourism as the pillar to do large things, it's not far-fetched. So there is room, there is scope for a destination like Dominica to really become a market leader in this space. So if Dominica, the land of many rivers, land of plenty of running water, if Dominica wants to lead in that space, there are also major development funding institutions that would be willing to partner with Dominica to make this a reality.
Director of Operations at Green Case Sustainable Tourism Kennedy Pemberton. The Electoral Reform Coalition will honor stalwarts of the May 29, 1979 uprising during a virtual discussion titled May 29, 1979 to 2025 Milestone or Millstone. The discussion will be held tomorrow from 7 p.m. and will mark the 46th anniversary when the Patrick Rowland John government fell. The Electoral Reform Coalition says the virtual discussion will analyze Dominica's situation leading up to May 29, 1979 and compare it to current conditions.
Panelists include former Prime Minister Oliver Serafin, former Agriculture Minister Atherton Martin, former UN Ambassador Crispin Gregoire, former St. Mary's Academy Principal Brother Egbert Germain, UWP's General Secretary Nicholas George, ERC Chairman and Dominica Freedom Party's Johnson Buston, and Dr. Irving Andre. The discussion will be moderated by Alvin Thomas and will analyze Dominica's situation leading up to May 29, 1979, and will compare it to current conditions. The event will highlight the role of civil society organizations like trade unions, churches, businesses, farmers, and women and youth groups. The ERC will honor many stalwarts of May 29th, including Philip Timothy, a fatality of that day. The event aims to be educational and informative, especially for the youth.
Member of the Electoral Reform Coalition, Rosie Felix. A new project to enhance housing in Roseau has been launched. Parliamentary representative for the Roseau Central constituency, Melissa Popon-Skerrit, says the Paint the Tongue project will begin on a small scale and expand in the future.
So my team will be deployed after to paint 2 homes in the River Street area. And in addition to that, I want to bring some more color to the city. And I want to bring more art to the city and murals, and let it be a place where you walk through as a tourist or as a local, you just want to be taking selfies because your background is so beautiful. So we're starting one at a time. In the future, I would like to be able to collaborate with the local businesses, to partner with them to paint their places, offer them brighter colors, something different, something eye-catching. So this will come very soon. And so in addition to that, we have started also our urban gardens. Take a drive down on Bath Road by the stadium. There's a lot which is next to a little house where you enter the stadium, and you will see this empty lot. That lot, because there's so many little children in this area, we decided to make it very colorful and playful. So we use old palettes from the port. It's brightly painted. We are not finished. We're going to put some pavers. But if you take a look, you can see the vision. You can see where we're getting at. So it will be a lot of nice little comfortable spaces in Roseau that we are going to transform, rather than having galvanized, a collection of debris, people just parking all abandoned vehicles there. We want it open so that people can actually sit on a bench, have a coffee, talk to someone, and be in a beautiful scenery in the city.
Parliamentary representative for Roseau Central, Melissa Popon-Skerrit. A group of former students of the Dominica Grammar School DGS class of 1995 has made a significant contribution towards their alma mater with the donation of EC $1,000. This donation is intended to support the school's boys club. Past student of the Dominica Grammar School is Saren Riviere.
We remember the halls of DGS and how it shaped our lives, our character, our future, and our successes even today. We would like to challenge you, the students, to take your time here at the DGS seriously. Work diligently towards the goals you have set for yourselves. And if you haven't already set goals, now is the time to start. Your teachers who I have engaged all wish the best for you. However, their aspirations for you cannot be realized without your hard work and perseverance. With these words of encouragement and support, we, the class of 95, present this check of $1,000 to the Dominica Grammar School and its boys program.
past student of the Dominica Grammar School, Saren Riviere. Principal of the Dominica Grammar School, Edina Doughton, expressed her gratitude for the timely contribution.
I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks for your generous contribution this morning. I assure you that the contribution towards our boys program is indeed supporting a worthy cause, because so often our young men are overlooked and the focus is on the females. So I'm very happy that you all have decided to focus on the males as your first step towards that relationship and your bid to make a difference at the Dominica Grammar School. So once again, my heartfelt thanks, and I look forward to a very favorable and promising relationship with the class of 95. Thank you.
Principal of the Dominica Grammar School, Edina Doughton. That's the national focus, regional and international developments up next.
Too often, customers are counted but not valued, like mere numbers, statistics, transactions. But at Flow, we're prioritizing you, our valued customers who have been with us through every milestone, every moment. That's why we're putting our money where your loyalty is. Flow customers claim up to $400 in rewards for smartphones, groceries, and more when you add mobile to your current internet plan. Because loyalty isn't a one-way street. At Flow, loyalty flows both ways.
DBS News.
In news from the region, the Barbados-based Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, CDEMA, has called on Caribbean countries to be fully prepared for the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season that gets underway on June 1st. CDEMA Executive Director Elizabeth Riley said that in 2024, the Caribbean had to deal with Hurricane Beryl, a Category 5 storm, within days of the start of the hurricane season. Regional forecasters predicted a potentially intense but erratic 2025 Atlantic hurricane season. Riley said, as the region prepares for the hurricane season, it is once again reminded of its vulnerability and the ongoing need for preparedness. And internationally, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney said he wants his country to join a major European plan to increase defense by July 1st. Carney said he hoped Canada would sign on to Rearm Europe, a plan to dramatically increase defense spending on the continent in the next 5 years in a bid to reduce reliance on the U.S. Carney added that 75 cents of every Canadian dollar of capital spending for defense goes to the United States. That's news. The DBS Evening Sports Report up next with Gavin Richards.
Covering the nation and beyond. DBS Sports Report.
Too often, customers are counted but not valued, like mere numbers, statistics, transactions. But at Flow, we're prioritizing you, our valued customers who have been with us through every milestone, every moment. That's why we're putting our money where your loyalty is. Flow customers claim up to $400 in rewards for smartphones, groceries, and more when you add mobile to your current internet plan. Because loyalty isn't a one-way street. At Flow, loyalty flows both ways.
Well, good evening. I'm Gavin Richards with the DBS Evening Sports Report. Let's bull off with cricket news. As the West Indies ODI captain Shea Hope says while the West Indies can take some comfort for them from their batting display in their last two matches against Ireland, the batters have to be prepared to reset and come prepared for England. Well, the West Indies will face England in the first ODI tomorrow. The first ball is at 8 o'clock Caribbean time in the morning. And of course, the West Indies, they are coming off a 1-1 series draw with Ireland. Hope says he expects England to come hard at the West Indies.
Yeah, most definitely. I think the progression that we've shown over the last couple of months as a team, especially as a batting unit, it's great signs. But fresh start, obviously a different series, different opposition. So we're going to take that as a confidence builder, yes, but we still got to assess what's happening here. But we're going to certainly learn from the experience that we had in Ireland. I wouldn't say it's a good or bad time. Regardless of who's playing, we got to make sure we play our cricket. Can't necessarily focus too much on the opposition and what they have going on behind the scenes. But I think it's an opportunity for them as well. I don't think they've been as successful as they would like to be over the last couple of games. So they're certainly going to be coming guns blazing at us, and we understand that, and we expect that. But like I said before, we're not necessarily focusing too much on them and what they've got going on behind the scenes. We just want to make sure we stay within and tick all the boxes we need to tick to win this series. And they've set a standard, a pretty high standard over the last few years. And, you know, as a opposition coming in to play against them, you certainly want to showcase your best skills, because they kind of set, as I said, they kind of set the benchmark of ODI cricket. But again, I'm not going to focus too much on what they've done in the past. I know they're going to be looking at us as trying to start their new winning streak. But obviously, it's been in our power to make sure that we don't let it happen. We start the series well, and then hopefully we can get a nice series win here as well.
And that's West Indies captain Shea Hope. Meantime, West Indies head coach Darren Sammy is hoping that the team can improve on their away record as they face England starting tomorrow. Sammy says that this is an important series as the West Indies build for the next Cricket World Cup.
It's always a challenge. You know, Ireland was a challenge. England is a challenge. You know, every international team posts different type of challenges. For us is to continue to believe, continue to work, and we are putting in the work. And we hold the trophy from winning the series at home. And we're trying to better our away record. You know, and we have a team capable of doing that. That's very important. You know, ever since we started this journey with World Cup 2027 in mind, automatic qualification is the first goal. Climbing up the rankings is the only way we could do that. You know, we've made some strides from when we just started. We are at number 9 right now with England just ahead of us, I think by 2 or 3 points. And this series is very important. In fact, every ODI game from now until the deadline for qualification is important. So that should be extra incentives for our guys. And we are preparing well with the conditions that are handed to us. And we will be ready by the time we play England, weather permitting.
West Indies head coach Darren Sammy. Well, we're staying with cricket news this evening as a 6-wicket haul from Tyreek Loda was enough, while he helped the Castleborough Secondary School to a crushing win over the Dominica Grammar School as the Sports Division Secondary Schools Under-15 cricket tournament continued today. The Dominica Grammar School, they were bowled out for just 44 runs in 15 overs. Tyreek Loda took 4 for 6 and Vince Daru 3 for 12 for the Castleborough Secondary School. Castleborough Secondary School in reply made 48 for 1 in 4.2 overs, with Vince Daru getting 18 and Doan Benjamin 15. Castleborough Secondary School will now play the St. Mary's Academy in the playoff match on Friday, and the winner of that game will play the Northeast Comprehensive in the finals next week. Still of cricket news this evening, head coach of the D-Threads T2 Gorge Splashers team, Mervyn Thomas, feels that the addition of last year's MVP to the Splashers could be the missing piece to the team's title run in the Dream 11 HIL T10 tournament, where the Splashers have been able to secure the services of Grenadian Daniel McDonald for the 7th Dream 11 HIL T10 tournament, which gets underway on the 13th of July at Windsor Park. McDonald was lethal with the bat and the ball as he secured the MVP in the 6th edition. The Splashers will also have Darren Ned and Asif Hooper as part of their overseas contingent. Well, Thomas feels that the Splashers did a good job in the player draft.
Really good overseas signings. McDonald, of course, last year was the MVP of the tournament. Darren Ned needs no introduction. And of course, Asif Hooper, a left-arm spinner from St. Vincent, has been blazing the T10 trail. Locally, I mean, we did a lot of planning. As you can see, we saw what happened in the last T10 tournament with some of the local players like Ifan, Jerry, who did really well for Champagne. And we felt, of course, going back to Lex, who is, you know, we know the level of commitment he brings. Sawan Locker did really well for Rose. So we did our homework, and basically we can say we got what we needed in the draft.
And that's coach of the D-Threads T2 Gorge Splashers team, Mervyn Thomas. Of the Splashers full team is Jelani Robinson as the Nature Boy, Daniel McDonald, Darren Ned, Vincent Lewis, Delani Alexander, Asif Hooper, Tyrone Theophil, Ethan Doctorove, Lex McGlaw, Sawan Lockhart, Derry O'Geese, Bryce Robinson, and Chamoy Williams. Meantime, coach of the Sari Sunrisers team, Sam Kernon, is backing his youngsters to do well. The Sunrisers will have Gillan Tyson as their nature boy and will have the likes of Kofi James, Darren Benter, and Kadim Aline as their overseas-based players. The Sunrisers will also have a number of under-19 players.
What I find this edition is most of the players I wanted to select were already taking my other teams. But it's not a problem because I think I got a good young team. I think fielding and catching is going to be important, or is always important in these tournaments. So I believe that a crop of youngsters, and most of them are very fine fielders, they'll do well for us.
All right, they'll do well for you. Quick word on your overseas players and what you hope that they can bring to the tournament this year.
Well, everybody know Kofi. You know, Kofi is exceptional. We just saw him in the breakout league. We see what he can do. We just hope that when he comes, he can transfer the same kind of things he was doing in the breakout to Sari again. Benter, fine wicket keeper, and Kadim Aline, explosive player. So I believe with those fellas at the top, we'll be all right. We'll be fine. Sari to the world.
And that's the Sari Sunrisers team coach, Sam Kernon. Well, the Sari Sunrisers full team is Gillan Tyson, Kadim Aline, Kofi James, Darren Benter, Jason Alexander, Malinga Bruni, Tyrese Libla, Cassidy LaRoque, Darren Tussa, Kenneth Valmon, Ishmael Lender, Tyron Joseph, and Brad George. Meantime, former Windward Islands Volcanoes captain Sunil Ambris is set to make his debut at the upcoming Dream 11 HIL T10 tournament. The former West Indies player is among 3 overseas players who will feature for the defending champions, the Barana Ote Warriors. The Warriors' full team is Gian Benjamin, Sunil Ambris, Kamil Puran, Keon Gaston, Kamal Hamilton, Sholan George, Shervin Dorset, John Matthew, Akan Edwards, Clemenson Libla, Fabian Benjamin, Shukwan Tuse, and Laibert Daru. Barana Ote Warriors coach, John Fabian.
We had to go back to the drawing board this tournament, being that everybody's back in the draft. We would have loved to have kept our championship team from last season, but we know that's not how it is. We are unfortunate to have lost a few players, but then with replacements, we expect them to step up and do the job and then work as hard to defend our title as we can.
All right, quick word on your overseas players selected.
Well, we retained, well, not retained, but we brought back one of those that we had last year, and then we have Sunil Ambris, a very exciting and explosive top-order batsman, and then we expect them to do well, and we're just looking forward to seeing a performance for the tournament.
All right, so defending champions, but it's always said that it's hard to repeat as champions. What will be the mindset as you guys head into the competition?
Well, defending is always difficult, even this year being even more difficult. The fact that we couldn't retain any players, the fact that everybody had to go back into the draft. But we are confident in the players that we were able to pick in the draft. And it's not about just the big names, it's the environment and the culture of the Barana Ote Warriors. It's the culture and the environment and and making players feel comfortable that brings out the best in them. We're unfortunate to lose our MVP of last year. He's gone to the splashes, but it's okay. It's the Barana Ote spirit that brings out the best in players, and we'll see that throughout the next tournament.
And that's the Barana Ote Warriors head coach, John Fabian. The former West Indies player, Andre Fletcher, will also play for the Champagne Reef Divers. The Spiceman is one of 3 overseas players selected by the Divers, and he will join Lenico Boucher from Barbados and Dijon Charles from Trinidad. The Divers team will have Courtney Ansem as their nature boy, and their team also includes Jed Joseph, Malachi Xavier, CJ Charles, Kimron George, Jani Tavernet, Neil Payne, Shaheem Caesar, Sebastian Brumant, and Melvin Defoe. Champagne Reef Divers coach Phoenix Thomas.
But clearly, when you look at what Champagne has this edition, is again we packing our team with explosive players from the top. But we obviously you've seen that with the addition of the Spiceman, is no stranger to the shorter version of the game, and Dijon Charles I wouldn't say he's unknown to us here, but he has light up the VPL, doing his thing in Trinidad and now in Grenada. So we just hope that he continues that fire. His selection mainly came from our captain Alec, who called me and said me that hey, he has had discussion with this player. Take a look at some clips, and then obviously I liked what I saw. So we went with those guys. So after speaking to Alec, he said with this top 5 or top 6, what he needs me to do in this draft is just go and pick some bowlers for him. They think that they can manage that. So the other teams, it's not putting up any warning to anybody, but they have to look out.
The Champagne Reef Divers head coach Phoenix Thomas, while Alec Athenaeus is also attached to the Champagne Reef Divers, and he will play in the tournament once he is available and not on West Indies duties. Well, tomorrow morning we'll hear from the Indian River Rowers and the Valley Hikers on their players selected from the player draft as we continue with our coverage of the 7th edition of the Dream 11 Nature Isle T10 tournament. Well, let's move on to some basketball news as the assistant coach of the men's national basketball team, Yannick Regis, says while Dominica didn't win any of the matches in the Creole Memorial Cup, the tournament met its objective of exposing young basketball talent to regional competition. Dominica ended their campaign in the 4-team tournament with 3 defeats. The last defeat was a 76-58 loss to Martinique.
I'd like to say that I'm very proud of the way the team came together for this tournament. A very young team, very inexperienced team. We came together as a unit and we performed adequately. There's a lot more work we can do to improve our game, but so far I love the passion that we're playing with. I love the energy that we're playing with. Last night was a very competitive game. It went down to the end of the game, but we ended up losing to a more experienced team, a team that has been together way longer than us. But all in all, I think the future is very bright with us. I think that the sky is the limit with this team. Adding some other players along the way, but we can now work to the future knowing that there's a tournament that we can train for, that we can expect next year. So I think we just have to come together and continue to improve on what we have right now. And like I said, the sky is the limit for this group of guys. We have a good coach. Donnie was experienced, he's been through battles, and I think with his leadership that we can get anything done.
And that's the assistant coach of the men's national basketball team, Yannick Regis. Well, the Creole Memorial Cup, that basketball tournament was won by Benin, the West African team of Benin, last night as they